Welcome back. The Bangalore Castle in India has become one of the most loved tourist spots in the city. It reflects a time in India's history that was under the British Raj government. The Bangalore Castle belonged to the famous Wadaya royal family of Mysore that supported Swami Vivekananda on his historic voyage to America to the first Parliament of World Religions. Join us on this exciting tour as we find out more about this unique time in India's history. Bangalore is a city with many personalities, shaped over time due to its multi-layered history. The Bangalore Palace, as it is simply called, was built to resemble Windsor Castle in the 1870s and is a sprawling landmark of a bygone era that bore witness to the lavish and elegant splendor of one of South India's most enduring dynasties, the Wadayas of Mysore.
This is a microscope of Indian history generally, not only post-independence but during the British, before the British. The dynasty began in 1399, so the history dates from that period of this particular family, and of course the Kingdom of Mysore. Because it was built in 1873 during the period of the British, it was simply called Bangalore Palace, because the British built it, and it was built for the Maharaja of Mysore, whose traditional family seat, traditional palace was in Mysore Palace. The dynasty was established in 1399, almost 1400. So ever since then, the Wadayas have been ruling Mysore Kingdom. And they were traditionally Hindus, very orthodox, conservative Hindus. There was a lot of turmoil in the late 19th century, the 1800s, and the Mysore Kingdom itself, and in the rest of India, and the beginnings of the independence movement, the beginnings of the Congress Party in the 1890s. And as I said, the Wadayas were always very forward, very progressive people. They always believed in having the best of the West and the best of the East, and combine the two. And that was carried on not only by Chamraja Wadaya but also by his widow, Vani Vilas. Swami Vivekananda, his trip to Chicago was sponsored by Maharaja Chamarajendra Wadaya. And Chamraja was the young boy for whom this palace was built. So because Chamraja was very interested in Swami Vivekananda's teachings and his outlook and his philosophy, he thought it was important to support him. The Wadayas have been inveterate collectors of art and antiques. Now in 1875, 2 years after this was built, the then Maharaja, who was about 12 years old at the time, did a tour of his kingdom. And somewhere in northern Karnataka, he came across this fabulous granite Nandi, and being a religious Hindu himself, the local Lingayats said, yeah, please have it, take it. I think the reason he liked it is because on the back of Nandi are carved two Yali heads. You know, the Yali features, even before the British gave them their coat of arms, the Yali features in their traditional iconography.
The design and architecture of the palace is unique and intriguing. Its charming Victorian and Tuscan style is borrowed from Old World Europe, while the huge interior open courts are inspired by traditional Indian architecture.
There's one courtyard which is very Spanish, where we have the Spanish tiles and the fountain, which were presented by the Spanish king to the Maharaja of Mysore when he came here in 1931. He saw what an eclectic bit of architecture this is.
With its unique design and interesting collection of art and paraphernalia from an era long gone, the Bangalore Palace is a popular tourist destination, welcoming visitors from all around the world.
It's extremely important. It's one reason we did the audio guide, because all these people who come here from whichever walk of life should have some knowledge of the history of this place. This is the most historical place in Bangalore. And so we've done it in several languages. So it's extremely important for all tourists to come, because that contributes to the maintenance of this huge property, which is purely on the shoulders of the Maharani, Pramoda Devi. So it's essential that we attract a lot of people here to the palace to see, well, not only the architecture, but the way of life that existed before.